As mentioned earlier, executive directors from various offices, ministries and agencies, alongside chief regional officers, convened in Swakopmund to deliberate on challenges affecting service delivery. Now, to give us more details on that, we are joined by Abel Tukuhupwele, who is the deputy director in the office of the secretary to cabinet. Mr. Tukuhupwele, good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Dr. and good morning to all the listeners.
All right. Perhaps at the beginning, kindly just talk to us about some of the key highlights in the speech of the Secretary to Cabinet, Dr. George Simata, when he was opening the whole event.
Thank you very much for the question, Dr. Maybe just firstly to say that our retreat was arranged by Dr. George Simata with the aim of exchanging views and also to have what he refers to as a festival of ideas on several matters that affect our country, for those that seem to be hampering effective service delivery. Therefore, in his opening remarks, he stressed upon the issue of lack of service delivery to the Namibian people and called upon collaboration, commitment, and consultation between executive directors of various ministries, agencies, and offices, as well as chief regional officers of our regional councils. Therefore, in order for our retreat to be successful, Dr. Simata called upon EDs and CROs to find solutions to key problems that assist our citizens to survive on. Issues of poverty, health, education, unemployment, improving food security, infrastructure were really tackled upon to find solutions on how we can address them. He also implored upon EDs to start working together with CROs and the other way around, because policy implementation is likely to fail if the two structures of government are unable to be on the same page. Dr. Simata also stressed upon working in silos. Therefore, EDs and CROs should ensure that they work in a harmonious manner to be able to deliver services. Lastly, in his opening remarks, Dr. Simata spoke about the role that public servants play in service delivery. Therefore, he directed EDs and CROs to ensure that they look after our public servants very well and ensure that they reward those that are excelling well in their work. Human resources, as you know, is very important to any government, and without the people, we are unable to deliver services. Lastly, before we address the issues that we identified as key challenges, he requested all EDs and CROs really to ensure that they renew their commitment towards service delivery for the betterment of the Namibian people.
All right. Mr. Tukuhupwele, we understand that the retreat was to deliberate on challenges affecting service delivery. Can you just provide insight into the specific challenges that were discussed at the conference regarding service delivery and also how these challenges impact citizens?
Thank you very much, Dr. Our retreat agenda was packed. It was designed in such a way that we find the key solutions or the key problems that affect our citizens. And among this is the issue of provision of housing. As you have read and as you know that we have a backlog in terms of housing, but the issue is not really to provide only housing, but is to ensure that we provide affordable housing to the citizens of this country. As you might be aware, Cabinet recently approved the revised national housing policy. So the retreat really unpacked this policy to ensure that we find alternative ways on how we can expedite its implementation. In terms of affordable housing as well, we are unable to provide that if we are unable to service our land Therefore, we also unpacked the issue of finding better ways on how to service land at a very cheap price. The aspect of food security was also an issue that we discussed. From time here and again, you read about we've imported food from one country to another. Therefore, we need to start growing our own food locally. Of course, growing our food locally, we are able to provide employment. Our food will be cheaper, and of course, in addition to that, we are able to export such food as well. Issues of provision of clean water and sanitation facilities was another issue that we discussed, particularly in underserved areas. Therefore, we tackle these issues, and we made sure that we come up with recommendations on how to ensure that every Namibian child or every Namibian citizen has access to clean water. And you cannot do a lot without water.
Yeah.
Therefore, be it in the construction industry, be it in the food industry, water is key. Now, the other issue we discussed, that is the contribution of SMEs to our economic development. Here, really, we looked at issues of how are we able to assist a local farmer that is based in the rural areas, a local farmer that is able to produce 3 to 5 tons of be it butternut, cabbage, or tomato that sells this produce under a tree. So we unpack this thing and see how best are we able to help this person to be able to ensure that he or she has a market, he or she is able to sell this produce. As you know, these are perishable products that can easily go to waste within a few days. So these are the issues really that we managed to tackle. Issues of education, health, and skills building. We need to ensure that we have the necessary skills in the country to be able to deliver service. From time to time, we hear we have hired a consultant to come in and be able to produce one paper or another for some of us. So we need to ensure that we have the right skills, and this is where the role of education comes into play.
All right. Now, in your opinion, what role does the collaboration between the executive director, the chief regional officers, as well as the office of the secretary to the cabinet play in overcoming the challenges discussed at the conference?
As per Dr. George Simata's statement on Sunday, he indicated that he has noted a disjoint between executive directors and chief regional officers in terms of communication and collaboration. Hence the need for us to really bring these two structures of government together, to be able to ensure that we work upon these issues, we address all the challenges, find solutions in order to serve our people well. Without what I call triple C, that is collaboration, commitment, and consultation, policy implementation is likely to fail. Therefore, having discussed these issues and these gaps that we managed to identify, and having made key recommendations, we are confident that service delivery will improve for the better of our citizens. Therefore, from a collaborative point of view, Dr. Simata's office, of course, will take charge to ensure that those key recommendations are carried out effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
All right. And how does the outcome of this conference contribute to the broader government initiatives aimed at improving service delivery across the offices of the ministries as well as the agencies?
Mr. Pewa, as you are well aware, policies are not implemented by those who design them. In this case, our policymakers really, we should congratulate them. They have done an excellent job and continue to do an excellent job. They have created well-written policies for us. Therefore, the Secretary to the Cabinet, as the head of the public service, together with EDs as head of administration in their respective formas and CROs at regional councils, are the people that are entrusted to ensure that policies are implemented successfully. This team of senior government officials should also ensure that the challenges identified at this retreat are looked at very well, holistically, and ensure that each sector is able to carry out its mandate on what they have been directed to do. Now, of course, as I've indicated, key recommendations came out from the retreat. However, as you know, some of the challenges that we have discussed cannot be implemented right away, or in terms of making sure that we eradicate some of these things. Issues of unemployment and lack of water provision really is things that we should start, of course, we should start now, but we are unable to get rid of them at this juncture. Therefore, from a coordination point of view, Dr. Simata's office, as I've indicated, will take charge to ensure that the recommendations are well implemented. However, he implored upon respective EDs and CROs to ensure that they carry out their tasks as per the renewed commitment that they have undertaken at our retreat.
All right. Now, as a result of the retreat, what concrete steps or initiatives does the Office of the Secretary to the Cabinet plan to undertake to just ensure tangible as well as improvements in addressing the topical issues of service delivery?
Of course, thank you very much. We have discussed at the retreat. EDs have given their input, CROs have given their input. Key recommendations have been made. A report will be produced and shared with all the respective EDs and CROs for their final input. This report and these recommendations will also be shared with our policymakers, because some of the recommendations that we've made would perhaps require policy change. Therefore, once we have received that endorsement from our policymakers, we'll definitely ensure that we get the ball rolling and task those that we have tasked at the retreat to ensure that we deliver on what we have discussed. Of course, the Office of the SC will take up this coordinating role as the head of the public service.
All right. Mr. Tukuhupwele, perhaps your concluding remarks before we let you go this morning?
Final remarks, that's all. Just to say that our retreat was a success. We wish to thank the Secretary to the Cabinet for convening this very important engagement. We wish to thank all the EDs and CROs for their commitment during this retreat. But also to say that, as I've indicated earlier, that our policymakers have done their work by crafting very good policies. Therefore, it is upon the EDs and CROs and the entire public servant to ensure that these policies are implemented. However, should be done so in a collaborative and coordinated approach. Lastly, Ms. Napeo, I'd like to thank the NBC for broadcasting this retreat during the 2 days. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tukuhupwele, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we wish you all the best with the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. I wish you all the best as well.